This is the Aftermarket Radio Network. It's your Weekly Blitz with Chris, keeping you in the game.
Are you ready to supercharge your auto repair business? This is Coach Chris Cotton from AutoFix Auto Shop Coaching. The Weekly Blitz is where industry expertise and business innovation collide, revving your engines for the week ahead. Every episode has game-changing insights, up-to-the-minute industry updates, and practical tips to shift your business into high gear. We're talking about stuff you didn't even know you didn't know, folks. This episode is brought to you by Shop Marketing Pros, the experts in marketing for top-tier auto repair shops. If you're running a successful shop and want to take it to the next level, Shop Marketing Pros is without a doubt your best option. From websites and SEO to social media and digital ads, Shop Marketing Pros help shop owners like you fill your bays, grow your revenue, and build the life you've been working for. If you're ready to take the guesswork out of your marketing, visit shopmarketingpros.com/Chris to get a free digital marketing inspection and start building the shop of your dreams today. So, hey, good morning, everybody. Before we start, I'm going to tell everybody, I promise I'm okay. When I started writing my notes for this one, I thought I was trying to be funny, and the deeper I got into it, the more I could see how people might think I've got something going on. I really don't, but it's something I've been thinking about lately, making sure to share. I've seen a couple of videos on it on Instagram. And so having said that, I want to tell you guys, I got you. I got your backs. This episode's for you, but this episode's also for your significant others in your life. I'm going to answer the mystifying question, what are men thinking? What are the hidden burdens that we carry? I know a lot of times we say nothing or whatever else, but turn it up. Let your ladies listen. I hope most of your significant others out there are supporting you in great ways. But let's face it, figuring out what men are thinking can feel like solving a Rubik's Cube if you're on the other side. Sometimes we're generally not thinking about anything. Yes, ladies, the nothing box is real. You know, we've got the brain parked in neutral. It's just hanging out there doing its things. You know, other times, sure, we're thinking about you naked, in the shower, both, whatever. Also, when we're in public, we're thinking about escape routes in case something happens. How do I get the family out? What do I do? Where do I send the family? All of those things. What to do in a zombie apocalypse, you know, which neighbors are we going to take out immediately and which ones we can actually align with to rebuild society. But, you know, having said all that, there are other things going on in there. And I want to dig deeper, you know, because beneath the humor and the surface level distractions, we or they, their, them, men, you know, there's a storm of emotions, fears and dreams that men don't know how to express, or worse, they don't feel safe expressing. We're going to explore a little bit why it's hard for men to open up, how the people we trust most sometimes tear us down, and why having a purpose is the difference between thriving and simply existing. First off, we have the struggle to express feelings. I guess you could call them emotional bottlenecks. I don't remember this, but I know these things are out there. I know these things are in existence because I see how societal norms treat women, young women, ladies, mothers, older women. There's things in there that affect you. I don't ever remember anybody being like, stop crying. Well, I guess so. You know, my dad's like, stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about. So maybe that's it. Maybe that's where these things come from. But just like women are conditioned, I think men are conditioned to man up, be strong, never show weakness. And I think all of these things for both men and women, this creates a dangerous cycle where we suppress our emotions because we believe nobody wants to see our emotions. And so over time, the weight becomes unbearable. But by then, you know, we've forgotten how to unload it. And then the other time is we don't want to burden others with our junk because they've got things going on in their life. I've told this story many times in previous podcasts, but when we bought our first shop, I would come home and tell Kimberly how terrible my day was because of the one or two bad customers instead of telling her how great my day was from the other 38 or 40 customers. And so over time, she's just like, hey, if your day's that terrible, I don't want to hear about it. there's that too. A lot of times we don't want to tell you what's going on because sometimes it's dark in there and we don't want to drag you down. But we have to create an instance to where we have to get all this stuff out. We got to let it go somewhere. Regularly or daily, I think men, they avoid conflict. They shut down during emotional conversations or, result to unhealthy outlets like drinking or overworking. Like I come from a long line of overworking alcoholics. That's the way it's always been. And I've tried to break that cycle. That's why I've been, 33 plus years without any type of a real drink. I try not to overwork. I try to have work-life balance. So anyway, that's the things. I don't know why we don't know what to do with our feelings. Even when men recognize they're struggling, there's a lack of tools or language to process it, I guess, because maybe we've never been taught that. Maybe the younger generations are doing some of that. And maybe that's why I guess sometimes we see them as like maybe a little bit weaker or whatever. But I think we need to change that thinking from ourselves as well. Hopefully they've been given a set of tools in a toolbox, because I think we were giving a toolbox without a wrench. We know what needs fixing, but we have no idea how to do it. So I know it seems crazy, but men, you can journal, you can get therapy, or you can start with somebody that you trust and just say, I'm not okay and I don't know why. There's nothing wrong with a hug sometimes. When we talk about these things, one of the reasons why we don't share is just like the sting of dismissal. You catch ridicule from your trusted circles, and nothing stings more than being vulnerable only to be mocked, dismissed, or told you're overthinking it. Sadly, this comes from people we trust the most, friends, lovers, family. This rejection reinforces our ideas, that it's safer to keep everything bottled up inside. Just get over it or rub some dirt on it is probably not a really, really good way to live your life. I also want to talk about the danger of surrounding yourself with dream killers. It's easy to fall into relationships where people tear you down instead of building you up. This can be subtle, like sarcasm about your goals, or overt telling you to be realistic. And over time, these negative voices, they become your inner dialogue. So you need to be able to identify toxic relationships, and you need to be able to replace them. You don't need 100 different friends. You need 4 really good ones. Hopefully that can help you in different situations in life. And believe it or not everybody on social media is your friend. And I say this a lot, and I'm not really sure what it means, but most people don't give a shit about your stuff. Like, people worry about what other people think about them. In the end, they're just struggling, trying to get off the hamster wheel as well. They really don't care. They might throw things out there, throw words at you, throw verbal daggers, write stuff online to make you think that you should care about them. But really, in the end, you shouldn't care about them. Next, in my notes, I've got the purpose of purpose. And I think the men have a primal need to conquer. Men have an innate drive to achieve, build, conquer. It's in our DNA. But in today's world, I think where physical survival isn't the main challenge, many men struggle to find their meal to kill and eat. And without a purpose, life can feel hollow. Or people have found their meal and they're trying to kill it and eat it, and everybody else is just telling them, no, you don't need to do that. And purpose can take many forms. It can be from career goals to personal development, community service, like whatever makes you happy, whatever makes you jump out of bed in the morning, do that. So what happens when purpose is lost? When men lack a clear goal, it often leads to this downward spiral of stagnation, depression, and then numbing behaviors. We can talk about people that do their gaming online. Then again, we talked about just a minute ago, drinking, overworking. Without a mountain to climb, we stop moving altogether. Have a purpose, set goals, some achievable, some not, or revisit your childhood passions, but get out there and do something. The power of failure. I've failed more times than I've succeeded in life, and I've probably kept those in just because for me personally, I'm like, and again, this is conditioning, I guess, right? I'm like, kick some dirt over that, kick some grass over it, and just keep moving. I don't dwell on failures very often, so I don't really spend a lot of time thinking about them. Failure isn't just inevitable, it's necessary. Every successful person has a list of failures longer than their victories. And here's the one thing that I know. Those failures are a foundation for success. The problem is most men fear failure so much they never try. They never try the first time, or if they get through the first time and fail, then they're like, oh, see, I knew that was going to happen. Everybody around me told me that was what was going to happen, so I'm never doing anything again. Life doesn't hand out medals for showing up. There's winners, there's a winner, and there's losers, and there's no participation trophies in life, people. Life hands out rewards for perseverance. Winning feels good because it's earned, not given, and the struggle makes a victory sweeter. So the other thing is celebrate your wins and use them to fuel the next challenge. And we've talked about that in previous episodes. Okay, so before you start throwing rocks at me, I'm going to say, how do we build a new narrative for men? So number one, can't even believe I'm saying this. Men need safe spaces where they can open up without fear of judgment. This starts with leading by example, showing vulnerability so others feel empowered to do the same. Men, you need safe spaces, and you need to realize those around you that need safe spaces as well, okay? A safe space can be a group of close friends. It can be a men's group. It can be professional therapy. A safe place is where you can let all of this off your shoulders and then move on. When we're talking about finding the right support system, the people you surround yourself will either inspire you or they're going to drain you. They're going to suck the life out of you like a vampire. So you need to seek out those who believe in your vision, even when you doubt yourself. If we're talking about the auto repair industry, this can be in peer groups. It can be in smaller groups. It can be in accountability groups within peer groups. And there's all kinds of things that you can do to find that right support system. And then practical steps towards purpose, whether it's setting small achievable goals or tackling big, hairy goals, which is my favorite. The key in all this is to keep moving forward. Don't get stuck like the tar baby, where you're just like, oh, we're just in the tar and we can't move. Purpose isn't found. The spark is in you, but purpose is built one step at a time. Whatever it takes you to do, if you have to create a vision board or a personal mission statement to help get you moving forward in your purpose, I think that's great. And whatever works for you, I'm always for that. Now that we've talked about it, what's next? So I want you to take stock of your emotional toolkit. Do you have one? If not, then start building it. I need you to evaluate your circle. Are these people lifting you up or are they holding you back? And there's only one answer for each of those. Keep or go. Do not let negative people keep busting you down. And then last, you got to start the conversation. You have to open up to someone you trust or be the person who listens without judgment. And so the next time you're riding in the car and your spouse says, what are you thinking about? I hope they really want to know the answer to that. And I hope that you really tell them what you're thinking about. But then you got to tell them all the stuff. That way, when you're saying, oh, I'm really not talking about not thinking about anything this time, that'll be true. Or you can look at her and wink and be like, hey, thinking about you in the shower. There's nothing wrong with that. All right. Men, it's time to stop carrying the weight of the world alone. Failure's part of the journey, but so's victory. And those wins are what make the struggle worth it. Don't settle for just existing. I want you to find your purpose, surround yourself with the right people, and conquer your mountains ahead. Because what happens if you succeed? That's the question we should all be asking. I'd like to give another shout out to our sponsor, Shop Marketing Pros. They're the only marketing company I recommend, and they handle all of the marketing for my own shop as well. If you're serious about growth, you need strategies that actually work, better websites, higher Google rankings, and ads that bring real customers through your doors. I want you to visit shopmarketingpros.com/Chris to partner with a team that understands your business, because every great shop deserves marketing that's just as great. Thanks for tuning in to the Weekly Blitz. Remember, it's time to rise, grind, and keep your mindset positive. Until next time, this is Coach Chris Cotton signing off. Have a great day, everybody.
You've been listening to the Weekly Blitz with Coach Chris Cotton on the AftermarketRadioNetwork.com. Follow Chris on your favorite podcast listening app. Let him know what you'd like him to cover. His email is in the show notes. Chris is all for advancing the aftermarket.